What's up, guys? Now, there have been a lot of talks about what is next for Khabib Nurmagomedov, and recently, Ali Abdelaziz, Khabib's manager, has gone on to say that Saudi Arabia, some of the people there are going to offer Khabib $100 million just to fight in their country against either Conor McGregor or Floyd Mayweather. A huge amount of money that doesn't even include what he gets from the actual fight. So we can see Khabib making, close to $200 million, if not more, to take this kind of fight. And we also have, the whole talk about Conor McGregor and Dana White putting the plan forward that Conor is going to be fighting the winner of Khabib versus Tony, but more alluding to the Khabib fight. We understand that fight hypothetically can be the biggest fight in UFC history, one of the biggest fights in combat sports history, especially in Saudi Arabia, the unprecedented amount of money, all that sort of stuff. And the offer that Ali Abdelaziz talked about was actually kind of confirmed by Khabib Nurmagomedov if you had any skepticism about that whole offer. But here's the thing now, we understand it's fun to talk about what is next for a fighter, especially a guy like Khabib, who is one of the biggest stars in the sport, one of the greatest fighters of all time, and looking to establish himself as the GOAT of the sport, right? But man, we have to stop talking about what's next for Khabib when he has Tony Ferguson in front of him. Everybody's forgetting who Khabib is fighting. Everybody's forgetting. He's fighting arguably the greatest lightweight of all time. Khabib or Tony Ferguson, one or the other. You can put him on the same equal ground as the greatest lightweight of all time, the most stacked division in the UFC, and they are the two best facing each other. How can you go and overlook someone with that kind of status? With the 12-win streak, defeating multiple champions in his career, going out and dominating fighters even in their own martial art. One of the most crafty, unpredictable, and well-rounded fighters you'll ever see. One of the most dangerous and mentally strong fighters to come into that cage. Legendary cardio, a misunderstood high fight IQ, and the only guy in this division that I believe has the necessary chance to defeat Khabib soundly. There is no heavy favorite coming into this fight. This fight is as equal and even as you can get in the sport right now. And people are overlooking that guy, not only the fans, not only fighters, and some of the brass as well. It is extremely likely in the realm of possibility that Tony Ferguson goes out there and defeats Khabib and throws a wrench into everybody's plans. And now Tony is the man and establishes himself in that legendary status. If Tony goes and beats Khabib, he is also in that same line of sight to be one of the greatest of all time. Just as Khabib is, Tony Ferguson is as well. And you cannot overlook greatness. It's fun to talk about what's next for Khabib, but when the challenges are so great, even Khabib, and I'm glad Khabib is not taking that bait and looking ahead in his career. He even said yesterday or 2 days ago that he cannot overlook Tony Ferguson. There's all these talks about what's next, but he says he has to keep focused on his biggest challenge in his career, probably even in the future. There's probably no other opponent that can challenge Khabib the way Tony Ferguson can, even going up a division. It's an entirely different skill set, entirely different danger, entirely different threat when you're fighting this guy. I mean, we have the boogeyman creeping up until the night of April 18th. And maybe he's hiding under the bed that long that people are forgetting about him, but when he shows up, everybody's gonna be silenced. Because for sure this fight's gonna be competitive, and for sure both of them are not gonna be 100% coming out of there. That is just the type of fighter Tony Ferguson is. He puts everything on the line, he tries to cut you up. He has cut up or beaten up, swelled up, bruised up, broken nearly all of his opponents. Khabib has never been on that side of the damage before, but he's facing the Punisher. So it is a bit disrespectful. It can be to the advantage of Tony Ferguson as well. A lot of people overlooking him. It can actually throw a lot of distractions in front of Khabib enough where Tony Ferguson can take advantage of some things or just surprise a lot of people. And I can also see the way some people talk about the Khabib and Tony fight when they acknowledge the risk of fighting Tony Ferguson. It's almost like they don't want him to fight Tony because there's such a big plan for Khabib to fight Conor since Conor was victorious in his return. It's almost like a regret to put Tony up against Khabib. But that danger is a reality now. But I believe we're gonna have a different energy on fight night. I think once those two walk out to the cage, a lot of people are gonna have a different feeling about the fight, a different feeling about what's next for Khabib. And after seeing, whoever wins that fight, it's almost like a toss-up. Whoever wins that fight, definitely not gonna be ready to compete in the next at least 3 to 4 months. I guarantee that. And it's not just disrespectful to Tony Ferguson, it's kind of disrespectful to the fight itself. I mean, we're talking about one of the greatest fights in UFC history. We're talking about, on paper, the two greatest competing up against each other. This is almost Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, maybe earlier in their careers, or Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. This is that sort of competitive greatness that we rarely will ever be able to see. When's the last time we saw two of the greatest in the division's history up against each other in their primes? I mean, imagine if we can see Fedor Emelianenko versus Stipe Miocic both in their primes. This is pretty much what we're getting here. But people want to overlook it so quickly. I mean, it's just kind of weird. I mean, we've been waiting for this fight for 4 or 5 years, you know? And it seems to be finally going on. Hopefully they make it on fight night, and people just want to go past it really quickly all of a sudden. No, man. For me, I want to live in the moment. I don't want to look at anything else even a week after the fight happened. I don't want to even just stay in that moment and just witness that greatness. In a moment in history that we probably won't be able to experience for a very long time after. Conor McGregor versus Khabib, yes, it's a big money fight, but it doesn't have that sort of greatness that this does. Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal, yes, it's a good fight, but it's not on this level. John Jones versus Dominic Reyes, it's not on this level. There is no fight that they can make right now, besides maybe John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, that has this competitive greatness. There is none. And the only way you can make that fight is by having a fighter change weight classes. These are 2 guys in the same weight category. That is special. That is very unique that we rarely ever get to see. So